What's happening? What's going on, guys? This is Cody from the Crazy Nation, and here we are. And I want to apologize because we haven't gotten the last two divisions taken care of, due to Kid being kidnapped, and a few other things. So we really haven't been able to get everything done that we need to. So I am here at my office trying to get things cleared up. All right, so here we go. AFC West and NFC South. Let's see who gets where. So the AFC West, quick review. So this is an interesting division because you have the Oakland Raiders with their history against the NFL and challenging Pete Rozelle back in the day. You have the Denver Broncos, who up until John Elway won a few Super Bowls and Peyton Manning finally got his second Super Bowl ring. This team really didn't have a lot to look forward to, but now they have a quarterback who has playoff experience in Case Keenum. The Chargers have Phillip Rivers, and they've always been there, but they've never quite took it to the next level. And then you have the Chiefs, who last year went on Alex Smith, did well. And then they have made the gamble on Patrick Mahomes. And so far, the Chiefs are 5-0 at this point because it is week 5. And next year, I'm going to try to do it quicker. So we'll definitely have it prepared for next year. So my apologies. But here we go. Let's go with the AFC West to start off with. All right. For fourth place, at a record of 5-11, I am picking the Raiders. The Raiders have John Gruden back, and they have an excellent offense, but they really screwed themselves over with trading Khalil Mack. It just isn't a good place right now. And if you're in the NFC North, remember how I was talking about Chicago was looking pretty decent? Well, with Khalil Mack, they have a possibility of making the playoffs, and it's definitely not a good position, especially for Oakland, because this is looking bad on Oakland. They have only one win on their record right now, and that's not a good thing. So they're in bad shape right now, so I'm picking 5-11. All right, 7-9. I have the Denver Broncos at number 3. Denver Broncos are, with Case Keenum, and the defense seemed to get somewhere. They will probably have a mid-range season. They have the potential to go further, but right now they need a few more players to surround Case Keenum with. Their run game is okay. It's not excellent. I mean, they did get rid of C.J. Anderson, so it's kind of And their receivers, Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas, you have to wonder if they're past their prime. And that's never a good thing for a team if you are questioning whether your receivers are at their prime or they're past it. And that's never a good sign. But their defense seems to still make some progress in spite of everything. So I think they'll come out 7-9. They have a possibility of getting better. They just need a few things, and I would recommend drafting those players, not really necessarily going out in free agency like Denver normally does. At number 2, this will surprise a lot of people, and most people will disagree because of where they're at right now. But Kansas City Chiefs will be number 2 with a 11-5 record. Now, people are wondering, wait a minute, whoa, wait a minute. Right now they're 5-0. Patrick Mahomes is at his prime. He is doing great. He's not making mistakes, and he's doing pretty well. I agree, but also at the same time, keep in mind, too, offensively, they're doing really good. Defensively, they still have questions. And while they did dominate the Jacksonville Jaguars pretty well, keep in mind, Jacksonville's offense right now is not in the best shape. I mean, everyone always questions Blake Bortles, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact they don't have Leonard Fournette, and they had to go get a former Kansas City Chief in Jamal Charles just yesterday. Monday, actually. 2 days ago. So, I mean, the run game is in question. Even though TJ Yeldon has always been good, I mean, if you don't surround Blake Bortles with great players, he doesn't do as well. And I think while the defense can definitely compete, and it is one of the best defenses in the NFL right now, they still need a good offense. And I think, and not all of it is Blake Bortles' fault, but I don't think right now that's saying a lot. So, I mean, Kansas City, I think, needs to have good defensive play performance. And they need to do well. I mean, the Rams are right now 5-0. They're doing pretty well. So if there is ever a Super Bowl between the Rams and KC Chiefs, yeah, you gotta find a way to get past Marcus Peters and Quee Talib and Dominican Sue and all those guys. And number one, Kansas and the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said San Diego. I'm sorry. I'm still used to them being San Diego. But the reason why I picked them, Keenan Allen is playing at the top of his game. Phillip Rivers is doing well. Melvin Gordon's there. Their offense is really good, but their defense is solid. Melvin Ingram, all those Charger defensive players are playing well. Sure, they've lost a few games, but the Chargers are still in a good shape to do well. And so if you're not telling me that they aren't going to at least have a playoff shot, then okay. I could be completely wrong, and they could probably suck for the rest of the season. But I'm giving them optimistic, and I'm thinking 12-4. That may sound unrealistic, like I said, but I think they'll have a slight edge over Kansas City in the fact they've got an experienced quarterback versus a young quarterback who's still learning some of the things. But yeah, that's my prediction for AFC West. Now the NFC South, the last division. Here we go, guys. So, here's the history with John Gruden, going back to that. Buccaneers won their only Super Bowl with him against Oakland Raiders. Yeah, that's pretty funny. The Atlanta Falcons 2 years ago were the Super Bowl contenders, but they failed miserably against the Patriots. After having a great score, they allowed them to come back. And unfortunately, they owe 2 out of 4 of blowing a 30-point lead in the NFL in the last 50-some years. 2 out of 4. That's terrible. I'm sorry, but that is horrible. And then you have the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton still doing well. And sure, he has Christian McCaffrey. He has a few other players. But they're still not a consistent run game. So that's a little bit concerning. And then you have the Saints who, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to Drew Brees. Congratulations, buddy. You are now the number 1 passing yards leader. And you are almost, you're one TD from passing Tom Brady, from tying Tom Brady. So in my opinion, the true GOAT, Drew Brees, definitely without a doubt, because Tom Brady doesn't have the stats. He may have the Super Bowl rings, but the stats definitely are in Drew Brees' favor. So definitely a big shout out to Drew Brees. So with that in mind, here we go with the NFC South predictions. All right, at 6-10, I am having the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta, since they have lost, have really struggled. I mean, sure, you have Calvin Ridley, who's doing pretty good for a rookie receiver. Julio Jones is still amazing, and the run game is always good. But that's where it stops, because the Falcons' defense has fallen apart. What has the Falcons' defense been doing as of late? They really are not doing as well, and they have struggled to give the ball to Matt Ryan. And that's been part of the Falcons' problem. They're not making they're not taking advantage of opportunities that they have. That happened last year, that's happening this year. That's a big concern to me. And while I don't think their head coach will get fired this year, he could be in the hot seat. That's not a very good place you want to be. Because when you lose the Super Bowl, that does something to you. It really, truly does. It can either help you motivate yourself to get back into it, or you could flop and not do well ever again. And that's happened before, trust me. So, Falcons, 6-10. Buccaneers will be third place at 7-9. Ryan Fitzpatrick did well for the first few games, and then he exposed the real Ryan Fitzpatrick, which has never been really that good. He's been good at the start, but then he's flopped. When I mean flopped, I mean he is tanked and has done horrible. And unfortunately, I really can't see the Buccaneers doing too well. I mean, they've got the offensive weapons. The run game's still iffy. But the passing game should be better with James Winston. Hopefully he pulls himself together because, dude, this is basically a do or die for him. Buccaneers need to move on if he can't put it together. So 7-9, that gives them a slight hope, and their coach remains. But James Winston had better at least pull out some wins and show some results, because honestly, it's gonna come back to haunt him if he's not careful. All right, the Panthers will be number 2 at 9-7. They'll be in the competition for a playoff run. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that they are going to do well or that they're going to be a playoff-bound team, but Cam Newton does have the experience. He does know how to get in position to win a championship. He does have the know-how. He just needs the run game and Christian McCaffrey to step up, because Christian McCaffrey is a great receiver. And speaking of Broncos, shout out, because Ed McCaffrey was a Bronco, and I always liked Ed McCaffrey. I thought it was underrated as a receiver. So Christian McCaffrey definitely looks like he's a talent that has a lot of potential. So can he take that run game? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they don't even need him. I mean, they've got other receivers like Devin Funchess, Jarius Wright, the former Viking, and a few other players that really give them a lot of potential. So that's just saying. So keep that in mind. And so hopefully the Panthers could do well, but I think they're going to just be 9-7 and maybe be a wild card team. Maybe. And number 1, and I'm going to be shocked by saying this, 13-3, the Saints. Oh boy, the Saints. Okay, the Saints struggled at first. But the way they've pulled themselves together last few weeks, wow. Their defense is getting better again. And Drew Brees is now the all-time leading passing yards quarterback. If that doesn't say Hall of Fame, that doesn't say GOAT, I don't know what does. He is proven himself statistic-wise to being one of the best probably ever. Like, he has proven himself so well. And he won a game by running the ball. And Drew Brees has never been a scrambling quarterback. So that tells you what kind of leader he is. The guy is almost 40. Keep that in mind. He is 39 to my knowledge. 39 or 38, somewhere around there. But he's an older guy who honestly is in one of the best positions he could ever be right now at this point. He is in great shape. It's like, dude, you are playing at one of the best levels you have ever had in your life. Like, honestly, he doesn't look like he's slowing down. That's a big bonus. I mean, even Tom Brady is slowed down a little bit. I mean, not that much. I mean, he's still being the GOAT, but he has struggled the last few years. But Drew Brees doesn't even look like he's missed a step. The Saints, in my opinion, are one of the favorites to win a Super Bowl. They have the potential. They have the stats still. They still got it. They just need this push. And honestly, if you're the Saints right now and you want to win a Super Bowl, now is the time. This is the time you get it, because I think after this year, I think Drew Brees is done. I think he's going to retire. I think he's going to end his career. So if you're going to go and get that second Super Bowl ring, now's the time. All right, guys, that is it from the predictions. Thank you so much for being patient. I noticed that you've noticed that while we're doing these predictions that there's a lot of other stuff in between, like the crazy files stuff. Well, let me explain what's going on with that. So We've done some filming, and I'm actually filming in my office, but don't worry, my siblings are not in actual harm. This is a script series. This is scripted for a reason, and I will be clear on that. And don't worry, it'll be okay. And we will have a few more videos coming out for you. This video will actually be going up after I am done presenting it. I will be doing some editing with it. We are actually going to have a Super Bowl prediction from my friend Dave Richter and for myself. I'll do myself right now as far as that's concerned. My siblings I'll ask as well. So here we go. For my Super Bowl prediction, I can't say Minnesota right now. I can't. They're doing okay, and while I think all the 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie teams will make the playoffs, yes, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, and Minnesota, they'll all make the playoffs. The problem is I don't think any of them are going to the Super Bowl. I don't think any of them are. Right now, at this point, from what I'm seeing, is that in spite of being a wild card team at the moment, or at least what I'm predicting anyway, I think the Kansas City Chiefs will be in the Super Bowl. I think they will be, and I think it will be the Chiefs and the Saints. The Saints will pull off against the Rams. Why? Because the Saints have the experience. They have the knowledge. Drew Brees has done it. He knows how to win. And in my opinion, Jared Goff is the new generation version of Eli Manning. I think he's great with other people around him. But by himself, I don't think he can do it. I think Carson Wentz, who's struggling, his team is struggling. I think he's better. I think Dak Prescott's much better than Jared Goff. I think maybe outside of Paxton Lynch, I think Jared Goff was the worst quarterback in that draft. A lot of people are probably going to boo me and all that, but that's my prediction. So it's going to be Chiefs versus Saints, and my prediction, Saints get their second Super Bowl ring.